In the high-stakes world of corporate boardrooms, who's really there to guard the company's moral compass? Well, we're about to find out. We're going to explore the super powerful and really evolving role of the independent director in India, a position that's being totally redefined as the conscience of the corporation itself. So, what even is a company's conscience, right? Is it just some mission statement hanging on a wall? Or is it an actual person, someone whose entire job is to ask the tough questions, to speak for the people who don't have a seat at the table? India is betting it's the latter, and it all comes down to the independent director. All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with what it even means to be a company's conscience. Then we'll dive into the legal revolution that's totally changing the rules. We'll look at India's one-of-a-kind director code, see how this role is becoming a real profession, and then we'll look at what's next on the horizon. Okay, first things first, the company's conscience. Let's get right to the heart of what an independent director is really supposed to be doing. A seasoned director, Nashir Mirza, really breaks it down beautifully into 3 core jobs. Number 1, you've got to be the voice for the voiceless. We're talking about the community, the environment. 2, you need to challenge management, but constructively, to make sure the big issues see the light of day. And 3, you bring that independent, outside-in perspective to spark real debate and get to the best possible answers. This quote from Dr. Chris Pierce just nails it. This role is definitely not for the faint of heart. He says you need a steel backbone, not one made out of jelly. And that's exactly it. It's all about having the courage to stand your ground, especially when things get tough and the pressure is on. Okay, now let's get into the legal stuff, because a full-blown revolution has completely reshaped what it means to be a director in India. The change has been absolutely massive. Before 2013, a director's duties were kind of vague, based on what they called common law, which is basically just unwritten rules from old court cases. But then, the 2013 Companies Act changed everything by literally writing specific legal duties into the law. And the reforms just kept coming, from the Kotek Committee in 2018 all the way to new rules from SEBI in 2020 about things like D&O insurance. That's just liability insurance to protect directors if they get sued. It's created this highly regulated world we see today. And just look at the contrast here. It's night and day. We went from a world of gray areas and ambiguity to one of real, concrete accountability. Section 166 of that 2013 Act lays out these crystal-clear, legally binding duties for every single director. We're talking due care, skill, and diligence. It was a huge, huge shift. This whole legal transformation then led to something else. Something that's truly unique on the world stage, India's specific code for its directors. Now this is where India's approach becomes absolutely revolutionary. The law doesn't just say, act in the company's best interest. No, it says you have to balance the interests of the company, its shareholders, its employees, the community, and the environment. It's this incredible, holistic view of what a corporation is for. And let's be super clear about this. It is a massive deal. It's a global first. No other country has a law on the books quite like this. Why does that matter? Well, it fundamentally redefines a company's purpose, moving it away from just pure profit and toward a much broader sense of social responsibility. India is really on the cutting edge here, setting a new potential standard for the rest of the world. So this whole philosophy gets baked into a specific code of conduct, just for independent directors. It covers the whole shebang, from basic ethics to being a whistleblower. But here's the real kicker. Only the independent directors are formally judged and evaluated against this code. That makes it an incredibly powerful tool for holding people accountable. So when you put all these pieces together, the new legal duties, that unique code of conduct, you start to see a bigger picture. We're watching the role of an independent director transform from just another position on a board into a true, formalized profession. So how do you actually build a profession from the ground up? Well, according to the experts, you need 6 key pillars. You need a national association, a solid body of knowledge, a code of conduct, formal training, a real assessment, and a commitment to always keep learning. And guess what? India is systematically putting every single one of these pillars into place. And this isn't just some theory on a slide. We're talking over 20,000 people already registered in the Independent Directors Databank. That's a massive number. It shows a genuine, widespread commitment to raising the bar for corporate governance across the country. And part of becoming an independent director now involves passing a mandatory online test. This is so important because it shifts the focus. It's not about who you know anymore, it's about what you know. It creates a baseline of competence and knowledge that everyone in the role has to meet. So we've seen where this has all come from. What does the future actually hold? Well, with this new professional status comes brand new challenges, but also some absolutely incredible opportunities. Directors today are grappling with some huge issues. The single biggest challenge? Rethinking business strategy in a post-pandemic world. But right behind that is a war for talent. There's a real shortage of qualified, top-notch independent directors out there. And of course, managing stakeholders and tricky supply chains are also top of mind, demanding more from boards than ever. But all this hard work, it is absolutely paying off. On the world stage, India now ranks 63rd out of 190 countries. And for the last 3 years, it's been in the top 10 for governance improvements. The world is definitely sitting up and taking notice. And this all brings us to a really powerful conclusion from Dr. Chris Pierce. He says that despite all the challenges, there has never been a better time to be an independent director. Why? Because the opportunity to make a real, tangible difference right now is just immense. So we'll end with this question for you to think about. With its unique legal duties, this formal code of conduct, and a real drive to make this a profession, is India's model for the independent director actually becoming the new global standard for corporate leadership? It's a pretty profound thought, and one worth considering.